Hi everyone, it's Kim from Carolina Sewing Back, and so I'm coming today to share with you how to do your Easter gnome from Kim's Club. So to give everybody some background on this, we are coming to you, this is March of 2020. We had hoped that we would gather together as a group and do our Easter gnome at our Kim's Club meeting for March at Give a Gnome a Home, and it looks like we are not going to be able to do that, and so you are being mailed your kit, and this is your instructional video in order that you can follow along with me. So I hope I'm coming to you and everybody is well and safe and things are good, but we're going to have fun doing this project. Now when you get your kit, it's going to look something a little like this, and you're going to have some components in here. So let's unpack our kit first and just see what's going to be inside that bag, okay? You'll have your wooden nose. See, we're doing a wood nose instead of the nose that we did last month where we handmade it. And inside your kit today is going to have your hat for your gnome. So this hat here, and it'll look like this, okay? So your hat will be there. Your felt body is included, and that felt body is going to look like this right now before you get started. You are also going to have your beard, and your beard is going to look like this. You are going to have your pom-pom, and right now your pom-pom looks like this. And you're going to have, of course, your ears, and you're going to have ribbon for rosettes. If you wanted to add rosettes to your gnome, I want you to be able to do that. And you'll have your pattern sheet. Now, in addition to your pattern sheet's going to look like this. And what I would recommend for you is if you would go ahead and make copies. You can cut from this if you want, but then it's gone. So I would make copies of this, and that way you'll have your body parts in the future if you wanted to make another copy, okay? So here you're going to see the hat, which I've already sewn for you, but I gave you a pattern so you can make more if you want. This is your ear pattern. This is your fold line for your hat. This is your gnome body here, and so you can see it's going to be like a little curve at the bottom and a triangle point. And I gave you a couple of different base sizes. I'm using the larger base today. I went down to a smaller one too because this project is made of felt, you can stretch that felt or scrunch it up and get it to stitch however you would like. So make patterns of these, and then once you've made your patterns, then the best thing to do is to go ahead and cut those out, see, so that you can then work from them. Okay, so that's what we've got so far. But the thing of it is you're also going to need a few other things. So let me give you the rundown. You will, of course, need your sewing machine. There's a little bit of sewing involved in this. You'll need needle and thread to do some hand sewing with for our rosettes. You're going to need your glue gun to put everything together. And I wasn't able to include the fill-in for your gnome. So what I would recommend that you do, and I know normally we've been doing our rice, but you're going to use some polyfill, okay? Along with, my favorite for this particular gnome is sand. And I like to use sand because it's nice and weighty. And if you see us with some more videos on the gnomes, you're going to see that coming out. And so I just take a small funnel and I insert that into my gnome, and then I can just pour the sand in and fill any more in with the polyfill to give you the fullness that you want, okay? And so those are the things you're going to need, along with some basic sewing supplies. So let's get started. So like I said, the first thing is we'll run those pattern copies off. And so once you've done that and you're ready to cut out your gnome, this is the body piece for your gnome, okay? And so you can see I just cut my felt piece out. The piece that I've included for yours is the oatmeal color, like you see here. And I'm using white because that's just what I happen to have. And then you'll have your circle that will go over the bottom. So once you've gone on and cut this out, and I would recommend you can do it with your rotary cutter if you'd like, or scissors, just whatever makes you happy. The first stitch that you're going to sew on this is we've got to stitch our body up, okay? So I want you to take your body part and you're going to fold it. There's no right or wrong side to felt, so you choose what you want. And you're going to fold it just like this, and you're going to pin that, and let's go ahead and sew it. So let me show you where we're stitching. At this point, I've done a few because I'm testing different things for you guys, because of course you know we've got gnomes throughout the entire year of 2020. And I have found that if you'll start at the bottom here and back tack just a little using the edge of your foot as a guide, if you'll sew to about here or maybe even a little bit more, you want to leave an opening further to the top. And the reason for that is because if you leave me a nice opening at the top, like you'll see on this one, then it's just easier to pour the sand into it and get it filled, and then we're just hand stitching that up when everything is over with. So back tack here, pick up here, back tack, and then back tack at the end here. So let's go to the sewing machine and get those stitches ran, and then it will look something like this. And you can see my opening is here. Once you've done that, the next thing you're going to do is your circle felt bottom is going to go right inside here. So you'll just take and leave it wrong side out like you see, and you're just going to take that circle and just lay him. I don't pin this, but you can if you want. I normally just go just like this, and I'm just, as I stitch, I'm bringing this around and making it meet that edge. As I'm bringing it around, it will just inch by inch just make it match. Okay, so that's what I did, but like I said, you can pin it if you'd like. Once you've run that circle all the way around it, yours is going to look something like this. And you can see I still have it wrong side out. My opening is right here in the back. Okay, and then you have your fullness here. So at this point you can clip this part if you'd like. I don't, because it goes inside the hat and you don't really see it. So we want to turn this, okay, at this point, and we want to go ahead and put our filling in, and that's just going to take you a little while. I would recommend take your time doing that, because you want to get that sand in there and it's nice and weighty that way, and you want to get the polyfill where you want the polyfill to go so that you get a really nice body shape. And once you've done that, yours is going to look something like this. And you can see you'll just hand stitch right up the back. I just use a nice big needle and thread. I put needle thread in here so you could actually see that's some serger thread, pearl crown, but it stitches it up nice. And the body then will look like, you'll have something that looks like this. And if you have a little wave to yours or whatever, it's fine. What you're actually going for is that cone shape. So once you have a nice cone shape like this, you're good to go. And in some of our gnomes, I even use this portion to be my front, and you won't even see this seam at all because his beard ends up covering it. But on this particular one, we want to use that in the back, okay? So your gnome is going to get sewn with that piece of felt joining in the back like that, okay? So let me make sure my glue gun's hot and we're ready to get started. Like I said, you want to just kind of shape him up a little bit however you'd like. The piece of fur that I included in your kit for you, you can cut that fur down if you'd like, or you can leave it and use it just like it is. It's entirely up to you. It's a pretty nice, generous piece, so if you wanted to cut it down, I wanted you to be able to. For instance, like this goes, you can see he's a nice little generous piece there, okay? And if you don't like your gnome hair down like this, then you're probably going to want to cut some of it off so that it just comes to the bottom like this. For instance, see, I like mine a little bit on this Easter gnome where it's just out just a little like that, okay? So that's the way I've got mine. So this one I probably will trim a little bit off the top here. And I want to do that because I want to also tell you, in case you weren't with me last month when we were messing with this fur, the best way to trim this fur is from the back side, and we don't want to use our scissors like this. What we want to do is try to take, I love the Karen K. Buckleys for this, so any Karen K. Buckley that's got you a long nose on it like that, what it will do is slide right underneath here, and I'm going to just cut off just a bit. And so I'm taking my scissors and sliding them underneath so that when I trim, I'm hopefully only trimming the backing of the fabric and not the fur. And see, then you can save this whole piece for something. And then I take this piece and just comb through it, and it'll let loose any of the little scragglies. Okay, so with this one, what we're going to do is fold this in half, okay? And let's just cut a little slit. When I say little, I'm talking like 1/2 inch maybe into that. So you just got something like this happening, and if you need more, you can kind of rip it or tear it more. But for this beard preparation, this is where we're going with this, okay? And we're ready to go ahead, let our beard be the first thing we're going to go ahead and attach and get on. And my nose traveled so to the other side, so let me grab a nose real quick here. We're going to need that nose next. I'll put him right there so he won't roll this time. So with your glue gun nice and hot, you'll want to go ahead and just position your beard kind of where you want to see it, okay? And if you're afraid, you can always put pins in there and let those pins kind of tell you where you want this to be, and then you can just move them if you need to and just whatever, okay? So you don't, it's not a, you're not married to it the first time. You can move that around some if you want. So what I like to do is I like to flip mine around because I like for this to come usually pretty equal distance away from my seam in the front. So I'm going to just stick a pin in that so when I get back to here I know what's happening. Okay, and so what I'm going to do now is pull this apart and drop a little glue in there. Just little glue dots on both sides there, see? And then just dropping it in here. And I'm really pulling on this right now and mash down on that a little bit. And I really do like a nice full beard on mine, so I'm going to create it that way today. Now once this is in place, I do normally go ahead and attach my nose, and I'm going to drop that nose in right here. All of these are not created equal, so find the side that you want to be the side that points out for your nose and glue on the opposite side. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the ball like this and then just stick it right there. And I love hot glue, but I think the best way to work with it on this is if you will hold this in place for just a little bit before you take your hands off of it to remove it. And that should be fine. And now you have a couple options. You can take this beard and you can glue it down this way. You can pull it up this way and glue it. You can trim it at an angle if you want. You've got a lot of different things. Today I want to keep my beard pretty much going straight across like this. So normally what I do when I do this is I know that I can pull that fullness back in the front of his beard. So what I'm going to do this morning is I'm going to bring me a bead of glue line right across here. And I'm going to just bring it up and start pinching some of that and mashing it in. Are my fingers burning right now? Yes, because it happens to me too. So I'm just holding that glue in place so that this is kind of what I end up with. And see, to me that looks really nice. I like that kind of a beard action there. So I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. And this time I think I'm going to put it on the beard itself. And we're just going to go kind of straight as we can, just eyeballing it. We're just having fun here, so no rules. This is not my normal workspace, but when I am there, I forgot to bring my fork, and I literally just keep a regular kitchen fork, and that's what I comb through this fur with, and also to get it out of my way to make sure that I've got everything glued like I want it to, and that type of thing. So just a regular household fork will work good for that. So at this point, see, we've got our beard there. We've got that working good, and let's go ahead. The next thing I want to do is put my hat on. Now, I gave you a pattern for the hat. Like I said, I gave you a pattern for this, but I went ahead and made your hats for you that are in your kit. If some of you receive a kit that only has fabric in it, then what you're going to do is you're going to take this and you're going to fold your fabric in half and put that, of course, on the fold, and then you're just going to cut this shape. Once you cut that shape with your sewing machine or serger, you're just going to stitch it right up. Now this is a nice fluffy fabric, and so sometimes it's really hard to get that to start and stop at the right spot. So I'm going to show you what we're going to do in the back, because since we're hot glue gunning, see, magic happens. We can do anything we want to with hot glue. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this hat and put it right on the top of my gnome, and he's so cute already. He is so cute. Alright, So you're going to bring it down, and you'll just want to mess with it to get it like you want it. And once you do have it the way that you like it, I would go ahead and glue it in place. And I'm going to, let's see, on this one, yeah, I ran the seam right in the back right here. So I'm going to go ahead and put me some hot glue back here, okay? And as I do that, I'm going to make the bottom of his hat look a little bit better since it didn't sew up just quite even. And all I had to do with that is just tuck that seam in just a bit and then hold the glue down on it. And so she's tight there. And you can already see how sweet he is already. He is just taking shape, okay? We've got just a little bit left to do. We've got to put a pom-pom on his hat if you decide that you want one. That's entirely up to you, and the ears. Now, if you'll stop and notice for a minute, you have a great base right now for any type of gnome you want. You could dress him and decorate him up. You could embroider on him. This becomes a great little baby gift for a first-time baby if you wanted to embroider a name and birth date and all that stuff on there. It's just so many different ways you can go with this. But what's going to make ours Easter is we are going to put those bunny ears on there and put a little bit of some little rosettes up there to make it look a little bit Eastery too. So get his hat like you want it, and let's go ahead and take a look at how we're going to treat the Easter bunny ears. So let me grab, you should have in your kit some pink, a pink square of felt. So you'll take your ear pattern and go ahead and cut that out. And then once you have, go ahead and cut out 2 ears for your gnome. And that will look something like this. And then what we want to do is we want to get like little pleats in those ears. So you want to play with that to see whatever looks good for you. What I did on this one is I just folded it in half. And then I fold back my edges in equal distance. And I'll drop a little bit of glue inside there so that it will hold its shape for you. Okay, so let me drop a little glue in there right now, and then we'll be ready to put our ears on. I also want you to prepare your rosettes. So the ribbon that came in your kit, what you're going to do is just take regular needle and thread and thread that up, double strand, knot it nicely, and go ahead and run it through one end of that ribbon to give you little rosettes and tie those off. They'll look like this. And you're going to want to tie them off, and I always just put a little glue on there too. Put a little hot glue on there to hold everything together. Okay, so like right now, here we've got ears, see there? And your Easter gnome is complete just like that if you want it to be. But I took it a little further and I added beard fur on my ears. And when you do this, you almost have to groom it and clip it and shape it and get it like you want. So that's all up to you. And then these rosettes are going to go in the front. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to go ahead and dab a little glue here. And stick a bunny ear on, and dab a little glue here, and stick a bunny ear on. This is entirely up to you where you put yours. I think that each one has just a different personality all on its own. And then these 2 little pieces of beard, I'm going to nestle those right on top here and here. And what you want to do is get those glued in place, and don't worry about where they're going yet, because you're just going to give those a haircut a little bit later. Once they're on, we're going to go ahead and put our rosettes on. Like I said, now if this is something you want to do, some people don't like the rosettes, and that's fine if you don't, but if you do want to add rosettes to yours, now is the time to go ahead and put those on, and you can put them here, you can put them across the top wherever you want. I'm going to go ahead and give this a little haircut. Here I'm going to snip that, and here. And normally, like I said, I would take my fork and I would shape those, but you don't want to get your fingers too much in there. It'll stick. So you just want to shape these out however you like them. And if you cut it too straight, you can go back and cut it a little bit more now. You can just shape that however you like to see it. And if you like to see it up, you can put a little more glue. You can get that to just be wherever you want so that those ears sit for you the way that you want them to, okay? And I'm going to drop a little bit of glue here. put my next one here. And there you are. And each one does take its own personality on it. It's so incredible. I love the way this one's starting to look. Now your hat, we're going to want to do the pom-pom on it. And so you should have a piece about like this. And all you're going to do is we're just going to wrap this piece right around here, however you want to wrap it. And that's going to be your pom-pom, and you're going to glue it shut. And so that right down in there and let it sit for a bit. And then what gives it the nice poofy pom-pom look is when you shape it and pull it out. See that fur flying everywhere? So isn't that sweet? So there's your pom-pom. And you are literally done that quickly with your Easter Bunny gnome. So I'm going to put both of mine here together so you can see. Like I said, they kind of take on their own personality, and you just see them in different ways. But they are so sweet and so cute. I hope that you got your kit, you enjoyed your kit, and you were able to join me to do our Easter gnome from Kim's Club to give a gnome a home. Thank you for watching today, and I hope to have a lot more videos coming your way. Give a gnome a home. It's Kim from Carolina Sewing Back.